Hi friends, I have come today with a very beautiful chapter about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. This chapter is My Childhood. This is an autobiographical extract of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. This extract has been taken from his Wings of Fire. My APJ Abdul Kalam. Introduction to the lesson. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, 15 October 1931 to 27 July 2015, was an Indian aerospace scientist and politician who served as the 11th President of India from 2002 to 2007. He was born and raised in Rameswaram, Tamil Nadu, and studied physics and aerospace engineering. He spent the next 4 decades as a scientist and science administrator, mainly at the Defense Research and Development Organization (DRDO), an Indian Space Research Organization (ISRO), and was intimately involved in India's civilian space program and military missile development efforts. He thus came to be known as the Missile Man of India for his work on the development of ballistic missile and launch vehicle technology. He also played a pivotal organizational, technical, and political role in India's Pokhran second nuclear tests in 1998, the first since the original nuclear test by India in 1974. Kalam was elected as the 11th President of India in 2002 with the support of both the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party and the then opposition Indian National Congress. Widely referred to as the People's President, he returned to his civilian life of education, writing, and public service after a single term. He was a recipient of several prestigious awards, including the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian honor. While delivering a lecture at the Indian Institute of Management, Shillong, Kalam collapsed and died from an apparent cardiac arrest on 27 July 2015, aged 83. He was then 83 years old. Thousands, including national level dignitaries, attended the funeral ceremony held in his hometown of Rameswaram, where he was buried with full state honor. Here I refers to APJ Abdul Kalam. He himself is narrating the stories of his childhood. So let us read it and enjoy it. And also learn about the inspiring incidents of his life. I was born into a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameswaram in the erstwhile, that is former Madras state. My father, Jainul Abdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these unfavorable conditions, he had great innate, that is inborn or natural wisdom, and a true generosity of spirit, a true openness of spirit. He had an ideal helpmate, a friend in my mother, Ashiyama. I do not recall I do exact number of people she fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. I was one of many children a short boy with rather undistinguished, that is, ordinary looks, born to tall and handsome parents. We lived in our ancestral house that was inherited from his ancestors, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. It was a fairly large Pakka house. It was a big Pakka house made of limestone and brick on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. My disciplined and strict father, austere means disciplined and strict. So my disciplined and strict father used to avoid all inessential, all unnecessary comforts, things of pleasure and luxuries. However, all the necessities, all the requirements were provided for. However, all the things that were important were given to them in terms of food, medicine, or clothes. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. Kalam tells us that his childhood was very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. Mentioning the Second World War, Kalam tells us that the Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. That time he was 8 years old. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted, that is increased in the market. A sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop, that is a grocery shop on Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch me the large sum of 1 anna. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war, which I would later attempt to trace. He would later try to read the stories of war, the stories related to the Second World War in the headlines in Dinamani, the newspaper. Our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces, the forces of America, Russia, and something like a state of emergency was declared in our country. The first casualty, the first harm caused by this war in India, that is casualty, the first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameshwaram station. Now, the train did not stop at Rameshwaram. This was the first effect of the emergency-like situation declared in India during the Second World War. The newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out of the moving train on the Rameswaram road between Rameswaram and Dhanushkodi. That forced my cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameswaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally I filled the slot. So his cousin Samsuddin wanted a helping hand, and it was naturally that Kalam filled that slot. That is, he became his cousin Samsuddin's helping hand. He started helping him in collecting the bundles of newspapers that were thrown from the moving train on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi. Samsuddin helped me on my first wages. So Kalam tells us that it was Samsuddin who helped him to earn his first wages, first salary. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. So Kalam tells us that uh, after half a century, he could still feel the surge of pride in his own money for the first time. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics that he inherits from his parents into a special, into a particular socio-economic and emotional environment, and trained in certain ways to figure of authority. Okay, so every child is born with some inherited characteristics that he inherits from his parents, socio-economic and emotional environment, and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father. From my mother, I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness. So Kalam tells us that from his father he inherited honesty and self-discipline, and from his mother he inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness. And so his three brothers and sisters. I had three close friends in my childhood. Now Kalam tells us about his three close friends. They were Ramananda Sastri, Aravindan, and Shiv Prakasan. All these boys were from orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. As children, none of us ever felt any difference among ourselves. These children never felt any difference amongst themselves because of their religious differences and upbringing. In fact, Ramananda Sastri was the son of Bakshi Lakshmana Sastri, the uh, Rameswaram temple. Later, he took over the priesthood of Rameswaram temple from his father. Went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Shiv Prakasan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. During the annual Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord Rama from the temple to the marriage site. So, Kalam tells us that during the annual Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, his family used to arrange the boats with a special platform for carrying the idols of Lord Rama from the temple to the marriage site situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha. The marriage site, the place where the marriage was situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha, which was near our house. So that marriage place uh, that was called Ramatirtha was situated near Kalam's house. Events from Ramayana and from the life of the prophet stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. Kalam tells us that his mother and grandmother used to tell the children the events from Ramayana and from the life of the prophet Muhammad at the bedtime. Now Kalam tells us one day was in the fifth standard at the Rameshwaram elementary school. A new teacher came to our class. So he tells us that when he was in the fifth standard, when he was reading in the fifth standard at the Rameshwaram elementary school, a new teacher came to their class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim. So Kalam tells us that he used to wear a cap which uh, marked him as a Muslim, and I always sat in the front row. He always sat beside Ramananda Sastri in the front row, who wore the sacred thread. Kalam tells us that he wore a cap which marked him as a Muslim, and his friend beside whom he used to sit was Ramananda Sastri, and he used to wear the sacred thread, that is the Janev. Sacred thread means Janev. The new teacher could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. The teacher could not tolerate a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. Ramananda Shastri was a Brahmin Hindu priest's son. He was a Brahmin, and Kalam was a Muslim boy. So he could not digest that, he could not stomach that, he could not understand that. In accordance with our social ranking as the new teacher saw it, the new teacher saw the children according to their social rankings. In his eyes, Ramananda Shastri held a greater place and Kalam had a lower place. So, Kalam tells us, I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. The teacher asked Kalam to go and sit on the back bench. I felt very sad. He felt very sad. And so did Ramananda Shastri. Kalam tells us that when the teacher asked him to go to the last bench and sit there, he felt very bad, and Ramananda Shastri also did the same. He also felt very sad. He looked utterly downcast. Ramananda Shastri looked utterly despondent, utterly disappointed. He felt very bad as Kalam shifted to his seat in the last row. He looked utterly downcast as I shifted to my seat in the last row. The image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression on me. Kalam tells us that the image of Ramananda Shastri weeping when he was shifted to the last row left a long-lasting impression on him. After school, we went home and told our respective parents about the incident. So after school, they went to their homes and told their parents about the incident. Lakshmana Shastri summoned the teacher. He called the teacher, and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance. That is social inequality, social असमानता और communal intolerance, सामुदायिक असहनशीलता, communal intolerance. So Lakshmana Shastri summoned the teacher. He called the teacher and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. That is rudely, he bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. Not only did the teacher regret, but he also felt his behavior. He felt sorry for his behavior. But the strong sense of conviction, strong sense of belief, strong sense of faith, Lakshmana Shastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. The strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Shastri presented, finally reformed this young teacher. On the whole, the small society of Rameswaram was very rigid, very strict in terms of the segregation of different social groups. However, my science teacher, Shiva Subramania Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin, was a very Kalam tells us about his science teacher. He tells us, however, my science teacher Shiv Subramani Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife, was something of a rebel, something of a revolting person. He did his best to break social barriers, social obstacles. so that people from different backgrounds could mix up easily. He used to say, Kalam tells us that his teacher used to sit with him for hours and say, Kalam. Kalam tells us that his science teacher Shiv Subramani Iyer used to sit with him for hours and told him, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. So Kalam tells us that his teacher Shiv Subramani Iyer used to sit with him for hours and tell him that he wanted him to develop so that he, at an equal level with the highly educated people of big cities. One day he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. Shiv Subramanya Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hands and sat down beside me to eat his meal. His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference, whether she had seen any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. When I was leaving his house, Shiv Subramania Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next week. The teacher again invited him for dinner the next week. The teacher Shiv Subramania Iyer again invited Kalam to join him for dinner again next week. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. You have to face such problems if you decide to change the system. Once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. You will have to face such problems if once you decide to change the system. When I visited his house the next week, Shiva Subramania Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. Kalam tells us that when he visited his teacher's house the next week, Shiv Subramania Iyer's wife took him inside her kitchen and served him food with her own hands. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. In this paragraph, that then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. It was about to happen. That is, India was about to get freedom and be an independent country. Indians will build their India, declared Gandhiji. Gandhiji said that Indians would build their India. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. About to become an independent country, when it was sure that India would become an independent country after the Second World War, the whole country, the entire country was filled with an, an optimism that was never seen. It was an unprecedented optimism. It was an unprecedented hopefulness. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram. Kalam asked his father for his permission to leave Rameswaram and go to the district headquarters in Ramnathpuram for his study. At this, he told me, the Kalam tells us that when he asked his father for his permission to go to the district headquarters at Ramnathpuram for his study, he told me. Here he refers to here he refers to Abdul Kalam's father. So he told me as if thinking aloud, Abul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun? Seagull is a bird. So does the seagull not fly across the sun alone and without a nest? He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Kalam's mother, hesitant about his going to the other town, Ramnathpuram, for his studies, he told his mother, Kalam's father told his mother, when she was hesitant, when she was afraid about his son's going to other town for his study, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you but not from you. You may give them your love but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. So these are Khalil Gibran's beautiful lines which Kalam's father